Hey guys, it is time to talk about everything that we tackled in the month of July. Hey guys, if you are new here, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole, and if this isn't your first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. First off, if you hear noises, thunking sounds, the trash service is going around and picking up trash right now, so that's making itself known. There's some beeping going on right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that is going on right now. A little bit more energy, still have the dark circles. We are going to start getting a little bit differences in sleep now, because as I'm filming this, today is the first day of the new school year for my kiddos. So dropped them off this morning. I have a somewhat quiet house. Things are different right now this week. We have, the hubby took some time off because we weren't able to tackle a lot of the home projects that we had, that we needed to get done over the summer. So we were like, when they go back to school, we'll just take some time off. We'll tackle it then. And then that way for the school year, we're good. One of those projects being getting, some stuff set up outside, because I don't think I mentioned this. I thought I would, and I don't think I did. So back in the wintertime, we made a discussion to add a little bit of a furry, feathery friend to our family. And in June, we welcomed them, and that would have been some baby chicks. I will go ahead and see if I have some pictures and put them up for you guys to kind of see what the journey has been. We ordered 7 baby chicks, and when we got them, we ended up getting 9. The hatchery that we worked with to get them, they give a little extra because unfortunately, sometimes things happen, and that did happen with us because the very next day we did end up losing one of our chicks. Sadly, she did not make the journey, so we gave her a nice little burial out in our backyard, so she has a nice little resting place. But I mean, that was a sad thing. So then we were left with 8, which was still one more than we had originally thought we were going to get. They were growing up, they're kind of in their teens now. And our new surprise is that one of our ladies might not be a lady at all. It is exhibiting a lot of telltale signs of a rooster, not a hen. And so we're just waiting because there are a few things that are showing itself. But when we've done our research and we've talked with people who raise chickens, sometimes girl hens do those things too. So it really is an if then. If it does turn out to be a rooster, unfortunately, we are not allowed to keep roosters. But there are a few workarounds. We do have some friends in the area that they don't have those restrictions where they live, that they might be able to keep the rooster for us and add to their flock. Otherwise, there are some cases where we might still be able to keep the rooster here. So we're going to see. I mean, it could still just turn out to be a crowing hen, because I have heard that there are breeds that do that. And just be the female. We have been told that when you have an all-female flock, sometimes a girl will start taking on characteristics of the boys as the protector of the flock, which means they will crow a little bit. They are a little bit more aggressive, and they tend to be a little bit more of the protector. So it is so hard to tell right now. There are a few telltale signs that should be happening in the next month or so that will get us a better picture of what we're looking at. But yes, as far as you know, right now we have 8 chickens, 7 females, and 1 that could go either way right now. So stay tuned for that little surprise when we find that out. Half of our family is thinking that it is a boy, and there's a few of us that are like, well, you know, maybe. So we will see what happens. But they are very interesting to watch. It is a whole new experience because we have never had chickens on either side of our family. Like it was dogs, cats, like the regular animals that you expect. So it has been a bit of adventure. we all have our different favorites, and mommy has, they've become mommy's ladies. And there is one in particular that she's the only one that knows her name, and that is Honey. And I will see if I can get a picture of her. I don't think I have one of her just by herself, but if I do, I will post it up here. And Honey is a Buff Orpington, also known as the golden retriever of the chicken world, we found out. And she is, she will come when you call her name. And she definitely seeks out attention. She wants to be picked up all the time, and she wants to be pet, and she definitely loves the attention. And when she's not being pet, she wants to like sit up on my shoulder like I'm some sort of chicken pirate now. I don't know, but we'll walk around like that. And then she just kind of does that. And then we do have other ones that have some fun names. We did change one. I think their name was Goldie, and we changed it to Houdini after she kept trying to escape her pen. Like every time you would unzip the netting that we used to protect them, she's flying out everywhere and escaping. And so we have a few. We have Queenie, who definitely runs and reigns supreme overall in like a very quiet, stare you down like you will not try this with me type of personality. Tori is the one that we have the questions about to see whether or not Tori will be Tori or just go back to Tornado, because that's kind of what where the name came from. We have Speedy and Mallow because they ploof up and one runs around everywhere. You can't catch her. And then we have another one that is named Shadow because Shadow, so 4 of our girls are the Buff Orpingtons, and 4 of them are I think they're Plymouth Barred Rocks, but they look like black and white stripes, almost like a zebra print almost. And Shadow is one of those. And then our youngest, tiniest little part of our flock is Tinkerbell. So we call her Tinky Baby. And she is the smallest one, but she has got a little bit of a fighting attitude with her. And she tends, now that she's a little bit bigger, to kind of tick off her big sisters with some of the stuff she does. So they are, I will say they are fun to watch. They are egg-laying chickens. So that will be their purpose. But we do need to get outside and finish their run, because right now they're indoors to get them acclimated to temperatures and to be used to each other. And now they're of the age where they're going to start being able to go outside. So once they're able to go outside in their run and run around a little bit more, if you guys are interested, I will pop up some clips every now and then so you can see how they are doing and seeing if Tori gets to stay with us or not. But even if Tori isn't, we are going to do our best to find a good home for Tori if Tori happens to be a boy. But we will see. So that is kind of the venture that we have been going on this summer. Like I said, the kids have kind of thrashed the house. I am very excited because we are going to be deep cleaning this week, and I got my new steam cleaner for the house. I've been seeing videos of people using these steam cleaners to like clean cabinets and disposals and anything and everything, and I am in that. I'm so over all the mess that I'm like, I have gone into my happiness of cleaning cleaning goods and tools and everything, and that is my happiness right now. But other than that, July, I did actually end up reading everything that I kind of needed to. I was surprised. There was a lot of times where I thought I wasn't going to. So let's go ahead and get into what we read. It was an arc heavy month. So a lot of these arcs that I'm going to be going over have already come out. So you can definitely go ahead and check them out at your nearest retailer. So let's get started. So first up is a book that I did go ahead and cover in its separate video, and so I will link that down below. I'm not going to go into too much of it down right now, and that was The Heir by Sophia Travers. This is book 1 in the Crown Haven series. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was great. It's a great kind of powerful families, enemies to lovers, found family, lovely banter type of book. One of the best ones in those kind of tropes that I have read. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, I did another video for it. So if you want to check that out, links down below. And 5 stars for it. So we started off the month really well. Next up, we ended up reading another arc, which was Will She Choose by Alyssa-Ray Bouman. This is book 2 in the Will of the Heart series. I had read book 1, which I think was Will She Run, and I really enjoyed that. So I wanted to see, because that one left off on a little cliffhanger with one of the other side characters. So I wanted to see her story, and this was that one. You have Callie, who there is going to be a spoiler with this, so I will pop that up now for you guys. If you don't want to know, get to the next book. But basically, Callie was left finding out that she was pregnant in the first book, and she didn't know if her boyfriend Parker was going to stay. Parker is a travel photographer, and he loves that life, and he would usually come back when he's done with one of his photo shoots, spend some time with Callie and her brother running, you know, their bar and things like that. And it was really kind of their summer romances, and he always would leave, and Callie's been waiting for Parker to choose her and stay. And of course, Parker had left at the end of the book, and Callie was going to be doing this on her own, or so she thought, because now it is months later. She is getting towards the end of her push. It's about she's getting into her 3rd trimester. So she's really close to her due date, and you've heard a little bit of this character in the first one, but now he's coming back, making more of an appearance, and that is Tom. Tom is kind of like the sheriff in this town. He is the police enforcement. He has kind of had this lifelong crush on Callie, never confessed to her, because he had lost his parents right around the time he was planning to do so, and it just kind of changed him a little bit. And then Callie would go off, and Parker came in the picture. So at this point, Tom is kind of stepping up to help Callie, because he knows a little bit of the situation. He knows that Parker's kind of left her, and that Callie is going to be a single mom. And Parker's wondering if now is his chance to be there for her and for her child. And kind of, maybe it's not the way that he envisioned it in the beginning, but maybe this is what it's meant to be. And so you have this romance starting to form, until Parker comes back in the situation. And obviously he is unaware that Callie is carrying his child. And now it's kind of like, is he going to stay? And that is kind of the love triangle mess of this book. And what I loved about it, I ended up giving it 4 stars. I loved that you really got to see from all of their perspectives. It's 3 different perspectives. You have Tom's perspective, Callie's perspective, and Parker's perspective. And what I liked is you really kind of get to be in their heads of them figuring out what's the right thing to do, and is the right thing that everybody tells you to do, is that really the right thing to do for your situation? And I really liked that. Like, you have Callie, who's torn between these 2 men. Do I try to stick it out and be with my baby's father and make it work, but I'm scared that he'll leave? I don't know if I can trust him to stay there with me. Versus Tom, who loves me, wants to be a part of it, is showing that he wants to be a part of it, and it could be a really great thing, but it's also new and I'm unsure. And then, or should I just go it alone and really just be there for myself and for my baby? And then you have Parker, who definitely gets, you know, surprise of his life coming to visit. And now he's like, okay, I really like this girl, but do I want to get married? Do I want to have a kid? Like, I thought about it maybe in the future, but do I want to do it right now? And, you know, can I do this? Should I do this? You know, should I stay? And then you have family, you have friends telling him, okay, if you choose to stay just out of obligation, then maybe it's better if you go, because, you know, people are going to recognize that and it's not going to be as great as you're thinking. And so he's kind of dealing with that. And then you have Tom, where it's like, I really love this girl. I've loved her my whole life. You know, should I fight for her now because I want to be there for her and this child? Or should I step back and let the father of the child try to be, you know, should I let them try to be the family? So everybody's got their own kind of situation that they're trying to handle. And I really liked how those emotions and those thoughts are being contemplated and resolved in these books, because they are probably a lot more heavier topics when it comes to a romance. The reason why I didn't give this one 5 stars is I did really like that element of suspense that was in the first book for Will She Run, and I didn't know if this was going to have it or not, and it really didn't. It was just more the suspense of what her choice would be. And I think pretty early on for me, I kind of knew what Callie's choice was going to be. So it was just kind of reading to find out if I was right or not. And that kind of took a little bit of the tension that I was looking for out of it. So that's kind of why it went down to 4 stars, but I still think it's a really great read. Like I said, the author has this great way of writing these emotions, writing these heavy topics, and really looking at it from a non-traditional perspective, where it's like, you know, do you, like I said, do you always have to do the right thing, or when is the right thing not the right thing? And I really liked that kind of contemplation in her stories. So I do definitely recommend that. This is a small town, kind of mountainside, love triangle, single mom, single parent, found family, very close, tight knit found family. I love these characters. They're very, very sweet. They've got their own issues, and they aren't without their own, you know, backstories and things too. And so I'm really looking forward to the next book, because like I said, every book kind of leaves you with a little bit of a cliffhanger for what's going to go on in the next part of the series with the new characters that are going to step out. So that one I really liked. Next up, we had to read our July pick, or we chose to tackle our July pick. I know I still had my June pick to do as well, but the July pick for Magical Readathon's Year in Aldea, which was to read a book completely at night only. And I ended up picking up The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. This was not necessarily a sequel to The Cheat Sheet, but existed in that same world. And I would recommend reading The Cheat Sheet first, because you see some of those characters and what happened in their story play into the rule book. But I love this football team so much. And I mean American football. Let me go ahead and clarify. Basically, you have Nora and Derek, and they were college sweethearts. And Nora ends up breaking Derek's heart. And now we are in the, you know, future. I don't know if it's 10 years in the making, but some time has gone by. Derek has gone on to join one of the major football leagues in this world, alongside our quarterback from The Cheat Sheet. And he is up to like renegotiate contracts. He's been injured. He doesn't know if he's going to be retiring, what's going on there. And his agent is retiring. And so he now needs a new agent. And lo and behold, his new agent is Nora, his ex. And so at first he wants to take Nora as his agent, run her through the ringer, treat her like crap because of the pain that he went through over his broken heart. And Nora is still like in love with him. You find out the reasons of why stuff went down. And what ends up happening is Nora and Derek end up going to Vegas for like an ad campaign for him, for one of his sponsors. And there's a lot of alcohol involved, and they wake up married to each other. And so now they're trying to be like, if we divorce, everybody's going to know, it's going to be a scandal, and I'm your agent, and we can't do this. So enter the fake marriage trope. And obviously there are some feelings still in there. And how are they going to solve this, get through this? How can Derek now make Nora his? Is Nora going to try to run? What's going to go on? And of course, you have the football team come to the rescue with all their wonderful dating tips and advice and plays that need to be run. And it's just, I love it. I love this team so much. They make you smile. They just really make you smile. So it was a fun book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. The only reason I gave it 4 stars is I didn't feel there was as much tension as there could be within their relationship. And Nora, this is definitely not so much a grumpy sunshine romance, because Derek's not full grump. But Nora takes sunshine and like just blast it everywhere. She is a very, very bright personality, where she was even a little bit too bright for me. Like, it was just little too much for me for her character. But it was a fun read. Gave it 4 stars. And actually, I think I owned that one. And yeah, like, I actually had the physical copy, but for whatever reason, because I have so many arcs that were ebooks, here, holding it up for you to see. Yes, this is the rule book, sequel to the cheat sheet. But yes, so I did read this one, finished it, and absolutely, had a fun time with it. So next up, we go back to the arcs that I don't have physical copies of. So we Vanna Whited over here, and we read Stormswept, Colorado by Hannah Shield. This is book 3 in Hart County. I love the Hart County series so far. I have been having a great time with these books, with these characters. They are just heartwarming, funny, caring, protective, like, just, it's like the Hallmark Channel, but like with some spice and a little bit of suspense to it. So, but you still get all those wonderful, good feelings of found friendships, found families, and just really good, supportive, like, loving relationships. So that's what it is. But basically, this is the story of Teller and Ayla. Ayla was the she made an appearance in the first 2 books as a side character. And backstory to our main male character in the first book, as the sister of our main male character's first marriage that happened, and like, she's kind of the aunt to his daughter. She is also a superstar. She is basically the Taylor Swift of this world. She's iconic, and so she likes to come and visit still because she is, her niece resides there, and she's found some friends there, and, found family for her. But Teller is the sheriff on duty at this, small town, and he loathes when she comes because all the media is there. It becomes a circus. It's a nightmare for him and his officers to try to, get underway. And so they kind of butt heads, not necessarily enemies. I think they're misunderstood, because even though Teller hates when she's in town because of all the mishaps and the media attention, he thinks she's beautiful. And Ayla likewise thinks that Teller, even though there is an age gap in this, even though he's older, that he is definitely attractive. She just doesn't like the fact that he kind of busts her chops every time she's in town because of everything that happens, and she gets a little defensive over those things. So it's fun to kind of watch them butt heads a little bit, not necessarily like too much flirty, but not necessarily enemies. It's just kind of them both defending their stances and misunderstandings. And so it's kind of fun to do that. And basically, Ayla's in town because her niece's father, her late sister's husband, is now going to remarry. And so she's there for the wedding, and there's a big snowstorm. And let's just say close proximity leads to some spicy moments and misunderstandings being cleared up. And then you come into the whole, can they really stay together or find their way? Because Ayla is a pop star from a very different world, and she has to go and do her things, and Teller is the sheriff. All the while, Ayla may or may not be having a stalker situation. So that's adding the suspense in there. And there are some break-ins happening to the women in this small town that have now started to escalate as well. So you have the romance, the spice, and the suspense all in there, a little bit of a mystery for you. And Hannah Shield does it so well of blending all these kind of themes together, to where it doesn't end up being just romance with the touch of suspense, just mystery with the, it's blended together so well in these series. Once again, you get a little bit of that Hallmark spicy, suspenseful mystery kind of part to it. And just well done, just very well done. I ended up giving it 4 stars. because there were a few things that I could pick out pretty easily in the beginning that I kind of knew where it was going to go on those. But still very well done. I also just wanted just a little bit more of attention or something in the relationship, because that one flowed a little too easily for me. I loved it, but I just wanted there to be a little bit more of really thinking about the situations that they were in, and figuring out their way. But still really good. Loved it. Highly recommend the Hart County series. Next up, I ended up picking up the arc for The Girlfriend Experiment by Rowan Croft. This one, I made it about 140 pages in, I think, before I ended up DNFing it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that it was a horrible book. It wasn't, okay? It was a funny kind of read. Definitely you have basically, it's a college romance where you have a more elite, prestigious male, and you have the girl that's kind of from the wrong side of the tracks, not a lot of money. She's the scholarship student. And they had a run-in when the main female character was in her first year, and he's older, and his friends have kind of dared him to do some stuff, and she ended up being part of that kind of dare and found out about it. So they have a little bit of a history, and you basically find out that his parents are wanting him to shape up or he's not going to basically get his inheritance. And hers is that her mother sadly has cancer, and the insurance is making it difficult for her to continue with her treatments and her medications. And so the girl is desperate and basically answers an ad to be a fake girlfriend for about I think it's like 6 months to a year. And lo and behold, her like worst enemy, this guy, is the one that's like making the offer. So it's kind of their story, and it sounded like a really interesting premise. And like I said, there was the banter between them is pretty good. For me, what was casting me out of it is a lot of the times you have the plot going on to the story, and then you would have this kind of monologue thought for each character where they're giving you a little bit of backstory information or their thoughts at that time. But for so much of it, it felt like they're giving you their thoughts, and then it would go into almost like an info dump of backstory. And it would kind of go off on tangents. And by the time you got back to the thoughts on the situation or the plot itself, you had gone off, on a journey this way. And it just kept taking me out of the story, where I'm just like, okay, that's great. I love that. But it just was a lot that would take you out of that specific moment. And it just kept going on. And it took me 140 pages to get just to the point where the offer's being made. And this was like almost like, I think 700 pages. It's almost like a 700-page book. And I was just trying to sit there and wonder if this was the way of the writing that was just going to keep going. And it was a cute premise, but it was really that kind of writing style that I just wasn't a fan of. So other people might. Like I said, I recommend it if you do like those kind of fake dating tropes, the college romance tropes. There is a little bit of spice involved. Obviously, you have a girl who is trying everything she can to save her mother. So it's got a lot of really good points to it. It's just, for me, it was those kind of info dumpy monologue thoughts that just kept popping up. And it was just taking so long to get to the actual plot that I lost my interest in it and DNF'd it. So next up, I ended up tackling the book for June's Magical Readathon Year in Adelia Challenge, and that was to read a book that was a mystery, or read a book that had water on the cover. And originally, I think I had picked out A Study in Drowning, and I still want to go to that one, but I, at this point, had read so much contemporary romance that I just really wanted to be in a complete fantasy world. Like, I didn't want contemporary fantasy. I didn't want magical realism. I didn't want anything that I'm like, give me just an epic fantasy, fun, romance, spice. Like, that was just the mood I was in. And luckily, I had just the thing, because I had picked up The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. This did not disappoint. Like, first off, I loved it because you know, we had a pirate ship there. And then what was great was like, there were pictures and I loved them. Like, there were these great images, and I'm like, let me see if I can find one of the ones of the characters, because those were great. Haha. So I'm like, I loved it. It had illustrations, and basically you have this fantasy world where you have the water fae and the earth fae, and they have been in this great battle in this war. And in the beginning of this book, you are coming in through let me see, it was, I think her name's Celine is the main character. It's hard, it's been a while. No, Livia. So you have Livia, who is the kind of princess of one of the Earth Fae families, and she is speaking to this little boy who's in kind of the dungeons, and there's like this little sweet childhood kind of romance going on. And she reads him this fairy tale story between the serpent and the songbird. So what's great is every chapter starts off and it'll say, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the songbird, or it'll say the serpent. So this is a dual POV story, and you get it from his side, the serpent, and her side is the songbird. And basically, years later, the boy was released back to his Fae kingdom and has grown up to be kind of like this pirate king, so to speak, and they want vengeance on the Earth Fae. Their lands are dying, and they think the solution might lie now with the lands of the Earth Fae. And Eric, who is our serpent, he left something in Livia's care as a child, and he seeks that because he thinks that that's the one thing that will give him his full Fae powers as the Fae king of his realm. There's a barrier. Through some circumstances, the barrier falls. He is able to get in, and he takes Livia. And they go and find an adventure, and not all is what it seems to be. And there's betrayal, there is passion, there is all sorts of wonderful secrets that get found out. And I loved it. I highly recommend it. I do have the next two in the series. I cannot wait to get to them. But I loved it. Definitely. Our serpent is now added to our book boyfriend list. Like, without a doubt, he's on it. He was great. Olivia is fantastic. The ship itself, I love it because it's so different from any other pirate ship. And it's not necessarily sentient, but like there's some stuff going on that's definitely more in the fantastical realm than what you would think of with this pirate ship. The powers that people have, the way when they get to the water kingdom and the different kind of like groupings of Fae powers that are there, I really liked it. Like, this is just a very immersive world. And I can't wait to get to the next one. This does leave off on a cliffhanger. And even though I kind of know some of the stuff, or I'm thinking I might know some of the stuff, oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So 5 stars. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Highly recommend. And we ended up getting both our June and our July Magical Readathon. You're in Aldelia. Or you're in Aldia, sorry, I can't pronounce it right. Prompt's done. So last but not least, I ended up having some time to tackle my buddy read that I was doing. And that was Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. Sadly, I DNF'd this about almost 80 pages in. I got this because you basically have our main character, Ray, who is terminally ill, and she's given a choice that she can pass on and be reincarnated with a challenge in this kind of fantasy world, and maybe given, like, I think maybe given a chance at a second life or something like that. But I had watched animes where you have this premise of somebody passing and they get reincarnated as the villainess in their favorite Otome game, or the villain in their favorite book series or video game. And I really liked the way that the animes had done that. I thought they were fun, they were silly, they were goofy. Some of them had the anime version of kind of like those spicier little moments. So when I saw that this was kind of that same premise, but in a book form, and the fact that she's entering her favorite book series, I was like, say no more, sign me up, let's go. So I really had some high hopes for this. And I think for me, the first thing that kind of got me was when she enters this world, it almost felt like she did a little bit of a personality change. Like, obviously in the real world, she's terminally ill. She doesn't have a lot of energy, but she seems to be the more mature sister. And she would read these books with her sister. But when she gets into the world, it's almost like she regresses. Like, she goes from being, I think she's 19 in the real world. I think the character she's supposed to be is like 23 or something. And she's acting very much like a very spoiled 13 to 15-year-old without a care in the world. Like, yeah, let's go do some violence. And you're just like, no, like, she doesn't have a lot of plans. And then what's weird is she doesn't really remember a lot of certain things about the plots of these books. And you find out that she's like, I was skimming it. And you're like, but the premise says that this is supposed to be your favorite book series. So how do you skim your favorite book series? I don't know. Maybe people do it. I have not come across anybody who's just skimmed their favorite series, let alone not read the first 2 books in the series. So that was a little like, that doesn't make sense. And from that point on, it just felt like they were just doing whatever whim she wanted. It didn't feel like there was much of a plot that she was doing to it. It was like, oh, I remember this part of the plot, so yeah, we'll try to do it this way. And yeah, and it wasn't seen as her trying to really overcome these obstacles. Can't talk. And it didn't feel like there was much of a growth for her. And I was just really kind of like, can I go on with this? And I started just kind of finding her really annoying and not really caring about her. And the whole book in the series that starts is about her. And so because of that, and because I was already kind of feeling that, I just thought, I was like, you know what, I really don't care to keep continuing with it. So sadly, I did DNF it. And it was sad because, like I said, I really, really wanted to like this. I thought the premise was really good. The other thing was that the writing style felt very YA. This is being done as an adult book, but it came off as very YA in writing style and in the dialogues and the characters. And I found out that the author, that I think this is her first adult book. She usually does write YA, so then that made a lot of sense to me. I think as a YA book, or like a new adult book, I think this probably would land a lot better. But then if I would have known it was like a YA book, I might not have picked it up as much. I might have like waited or figured out, I don't know, because I'm not really into a lot of the younger YA fantasy. But who's to say? Like I said, I'm glad that there are some people that were like really like, they will fight you over this book. And I'm glad that the author has that kind of fandom going for her book, because then it makes me good when I'm like, it wasn't exactly for me. It wasn't for me. Glad it's for someone else. So yes, ended up DNFing that one. But yeah, that is basically everything that we read for the month of July. We got through all our arcs. We got through all our requests. And that made me happy because, like I said, I felt like I was really struggling a little bit this month with trying to get things done. So let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books, if you had similar thoughts to mine, if there was one that now that I've talked about it, you're like, maybe I will pick that up. Let me know. But other than that, I hope you guys are doing well. If your kiddos are going back to school, hopefully the stress isn't getting to you too much with all the paperwork and the back to school supplies and all of that headache. I hope it goes easy for you. If not, and you're still enjoying your summer, enjoy your summer, get those last vacations in, enjoy whatever weather that is coming your way. If it's not so nice, stay safe, stay warm, stay cool, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.